You know, this is the last Sunday in the church year that we celebrate the Christmas story. It's Epiphany. It's a big day, right? This is the day that the Magi reach the child Jesus, the Savior of the world. The Magi, of course, who are they? They are what their name suggests. They are magicians, astrologers, psychics. To be better put, these are non-Jews, non-religious people, non-Bible believing folks, not even as far as we can tell, people of faith. Yet, it is the Magi who noticed the star. The Magi chose to follow its light, to have the audacity to approach Herod asking, "Where is the child who will save the world?" The Magi are the ones who will worship the child Jesus and invite non-Jews, Gentiles, to do the same. I love to mention that every year, and especially this year, as a reminder to all of us, people of faith, who lately may be finding our faith in short supply, or ponder the ways that we may have fallen short, or maybe we feel not deserving so much of God's grace. Even for those of us who might feel like giving up on the very idea of God or the belief in a benevolent, ever-present higher power, much less one who loves us exactly as we are. To all of us who have frantically tried to find the light but are just plain exhausted and now have all but stopped searching for light, we need this reminder today. Because remembering that the star was noticed by the Magi, that the Christ child was found and worshiped by outsiders when the religious people missed it, this brings hope to all of us, because it reminds us that no matter where we are on our journey of faith, God is determined to be found. So determined, in fact, that God will come to people we didn't expect God to come to, even us. That God can be found in places we don't expect, or places where we don't seek God, or places we don't want God to be. We can find God in literature and the arts and music and science and cooking and illness and in rebellion and in doubt. It reminds us that God can be found at night, in our fears, in chaos, in a pandemic, and in the dark. God is present. God is determined to be found by us and by others. God will be found. Arise. Shine, for your light has come. The words of the prophet invite a discouraged and depressed people to open their eyes and look up. The light has come. They had been going through some tough stuff, and though the end was almost in sight, it would be a long season before they were back to anything resembling normal. Sound familiar at all? And no kidding, like I said before, it's been rough. We talked about it on Christmas Eve. 2020 was a long year for so many of us, and we were so hopeful. And we're hopeful now. We're hopeful about the new year. We're glad for the optimism that each new year brings. But this year, I don't know, it kind of feels like we're stepping in a little bit more gingerly, more cautiously, more guarded and jaded than we ever have been before. I saw a meme the other day on Facebook that said, "Look, nobody claimed 2021 as their year. We're going to be good. We're going to walk in real quiet. Don't touch anything." True enough, right? Forget looking for light or expecting for light or even hoping for light. We need to deal with what's in front of us right now. It's painful enough dealing with all of that, trying to climb out of this. Just leave me. Put our heads down. We'll be pushing through things till we'll be back to normal. Till then, I'm going to be right here. I'm going to be 6 feet apart. I'm going to be wearing my mask, and I'm going to be washing my hands. The same was true for the Israelites stepping back into their homeland after being in exile for so long. Not 9 months, not 12 months, decades. So long and so hard was their journey, so arduous the task of getting back to their homeland, so much stress that they had trouble raising their eyes to look for the light. Yet, the prophet reminds them, their light has come. It's here with us. And of course we know this, yes? At least we claim to. We acknowledge the light of Christ in each of us. We celebrate the light in each other, in creation, in all things. It's just tough to find sometimes, and continually looking and seeking and trying and praying for the light, it can be exhausting. Perhaps just knowing that the light has come, that light is here, perhaps that's enough for right now. I wonder, what if we allowed ourselves to stop looking and seeking and trying for a while? What if we allowed ourselves to just rest, knowing that God's light is here, that God is here? What if we stopped our frantic searching and let the God so determined to be found in us? What if in all our doubt and darkness and disillusionment, what if we just suddenly stopped and rested and waited until the star finds us? And I realize this is not perhaps what you expected to hear today. Epiphany Sunday, after all, is a day that we celebrate our awareness of God, our awakening to the Spirit and the new light of life, a day that we usually get new stars, we get new words to focus on, to notice, to seek, to be aware of the Spirit's movement in our lives. But here's what I know. Sometimes it's the most awakened moments of our spiritual life happen in stillness. Sometimes the most profound arisings happen when we are silent, when we're not seeking or striving or starring or expecting or trying to make God fit into our lives and expectations the way we hope God will or want God to. And just let God be God and let us just be. That's when we shine. And this isn't new, right? Be still and know that I am God. You heard it a few moments ago in the prayer. God makes us lie down in green pastures to rest. Elijah goes to the mountain, and God is found not in the storm and the wind and the rain, but God is found in the stillness. God speaks in the stillness. God restores in the stillness. What if this epiphany, instead, we allow ourselves, as the song Howard just sang to us, to stop our slow, painful steps climbing our way out, and instead we just rest beside the weary road. We be still and let the angels sing, that we let God sing over us. What if our awakening this year is realizing that without trying or seeking or striving, we're enough, just as we are? You know, God's presence is something that never leaves us, despite how it might feel or how things might appear. Yes, the light has come, and trust me, God will make that light known to you, even you, non-believer, doubter. Over the next several weeks, we're going to be talking about how we live in that light, how we work and serve and pray and rest and just be in that light. The presence of the Lord has shone upon you, has shone upon you. God's presence can be seen over you when we can't see it ourselves. This is the promise. As we begin to see it, as we begin to behold it, or grab part of it, says the prophet, we become radiant. We glow. My friends, we reflect God's light. This day of awakening, this day of epiphany, why not let God's light find you and rest in the arms of acceptance and love? As we go now toward a time of communion, I can't help but remember that for this time, Jesus gave us this very simple way to remember that God is in us. God is in the stillness and in the dark.